£10 doesn't sound like much, but losing just £10 changed my entire life. This time last year, I was crying almost every week, arguing with my family, gaining weight, and in a relationship that I was really unhappy in. I thought that leaving the relationship would fix everything, and it did not. Somehow, losing £10 did, but it wasn't because of the reason you might think or that I looked amazing. The changes were actually so much more than that. By the end of the video, I'll show you exactly how I lost £10, but first you need to understand why it changed so much more than just my body and why that wasn't even the most important part in the end. So this year I took a gap year from September of last year, basically after I finished my A-levels, and by January I genuinely felt like I had wasted the entire year feeling sorry for myself after my family came in a difficult situation where we ended up living in a caravan, which we clearly still do now. My relationship with my family started to break down, and I relied on my boyfriend at the time, often spending weekends at his house, literally just sitting in bed and eating junk and doing nothing else, which made me feel even worse. I was using this relationship as an escape from my home life, and I didn't even realize it. It all came to a head after a trip to America where I ended up rebuilding my relationship with my mum, dad, and my sister, and I kind of had a snap where instead of being unhappy at home, I was unhappy in my relationship with my boyfriend instead. I ultimately did decide to end my relationship with my boyfriend, and I soon realized that I was responsible for my own happiness and no one else was responsible for it.
Hi guys, this is Editing Holly here. I didn't make this very clear and I want to make it clear. This boyfriend did absolutely nothing wrong. He was a lovely person and a very good boyfriend. Sometimes the relationship just isn't right for you, and although I was very happy at the start, my depression took over and there was nothing I could do about it, and it was the best decision for me at the time, but I just wanted to make it super clear it's nothing to do with him, and it was not a toxic relationship and we were very happy, but sometimes things just aren't right for you.
After this, my life really should have improved. I was out of my relationship, I was focusing on myself, kind of, but it just didn't improve. That is when I realized the thing I was blaming all my problems on was not the problem at all. I had taken control back, but I still felt horrible about my appearance and my weight. And I'm very ashamed to say this, but I was addicted to skinny talk. Not good, not good. Sorry everyone, my phone overheated, so I had to go put it in the fridge and then bring it back in here because it is 36 degrees in here right now as we're in a heat wave, which is why I also look very sweaty. As I was saying, I am ashamed to say, also very ashamed to say, that Skinny Talk was my initial inspiration for weight loss, but I would strongly recommend against going near it. Actually, do not go near it at all. It is just, social media in general right now is riddled with like ED culture, and I think even engaging with it, even viewing it, is just promoting even more to that algorithm, which is not, it's not what you want at all. So just as like a little tangent, do not go near Skinny Talk. Try and stay away from any content except from like nutritionists and certified people. Personally, that's what I would say, and that is my recommendation for weight loss, especially if you want to promote healthy weight loss. Anyway, why weight? As in, like, why? This is I was gonna do a cringy bit, but as in, like, why did I pick my weight to focus on instead of anything else? In truth, losing weight has been in the back or like forefront of my mind since I was about 14 or 15 when I came home from a trip to Disney World and my mum called me chunky. Just to preface, this is not, I don't think that that's what a preface is, but just to say, it definitely was not the right way for my mum to approach this, and I reacted as any 14, 15-year-old would react. I cried, I screamed, and I called my mum every name under the sun, and I'm pretty sure I also hit her as well, which is kind of understandable if I'm being honest. However, now that I look back, I do understand where she was coming from. She was just worried about my health and about me being bullied at school because my mum has struggled with her weight and also had, you know, she's also had problems with that, so she just didn't want me to experience the same. But still, ever since then, I honestly haven't gone a day without thinking about weight loss, calories, how my body looks. And actually, after Disney World, even though I was only like 15, I did go on a bit of a weight loss journey, and I went from about 132 pounds to 127 7 pounds. Bear in mind, I am 5'2", so I'm quite short, and then I was probably about 5'1". So even though it sounds like a small number, it looked quite big on me. Although I wasn't the skinniest then, I was happy with myself, and that was the main thing. However, as things go, in my previous relationship, 3 years after the fact, I gained all the weight back and I did not see it at all. The Nile is a river in Egypt. I was overweight. In January, I was overweight on the BMI scale, which I know BMI isn't accurate for everyone, but I didn't have a pound of muscle on me. I was all fat and eating junk every single day. The constant insecurity came back into my life and basically overwhelmed me, and I couldn't stop thinking about food. There was not a moment that I wasn't thinking about what's for dinner, what's for lunch, what am I going to have for a snack? Oh my god, I need food now. There was not a single moment. It was overwhelming every single part of my life, and I needed it to stop. Funny enough, the weight loss actually didn't just stop the food noise, it completely changed the way I thought about food. I'll explain that in just a minute. Essentially, to answer the question, why did I choose to focus on weight loss? It was because it was something that had consumed me for most of my life, and I just wanted that insecurity gone for good. If that sounds like you guys, please stay until the end where I explain exactly how I lost the weight and not only transform my body, but my life entirely. When you start to finally achieve what you wanted to for so long, there is no feeling like it at all. In about April, I decided, well, kind of yeah, April, March, I decided to actually kick off my weight loss journey after I broke up with my boyfriend and I saw the numbers on the scale finally start to drop. It turns out that wasn't even the best thing about weight loss. I was happier, I was getting along with my family even more than I had been. I stopped having so many emotional outbursts and depressive episodes. Funnily enough, first thing I noticed wasn't even my weight, it was my skin. Before my weight loss journey, I had painful psoriasis on the back of my neck and my scalp, and I also had acne on my back and my face. And I noticed slowly but surely both of those things were going away until my psoriasis was completely gone. Like, completely. I did not have a flake on my scalp or my neck. And then something even weird happened, which is it's so TMI, but my digestion got so much better. I really don't want to be TMI, but I used to have the worst constipation and the worst stomach aches, and my bowels were never consistent with anything. I was always up and down. And I think not, I wouldn't even say it was weight loss. I'd say knowing what food I was putting into my body and recognizing what was good for my gut health and what was not so great for my gut health really made me realize and my digestion start to improve massively. And then, guys, my favorite thing happened. As a girl who was really bad at sports in school, never worked out, and every time I did, I was constantly out of breath or hurt my ankle, I started to actually enjoy workouts. I started walking 15,000 steps a day. I started weightlifting, which it was never something I considered. When someone, oh, you should weightlift, I was like, oh no, I don't touch a gym, I don't go near a gym. I actually started to enjoy it and feel good about myself while I was doing it. If you met me a year ago and told me, Holly, you're really active now, you live an active lifestyle, I would never have believed you. I was someone who was like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, but I'm not gonna do any workouts. I'm just gonna eat a really tiny amount. No, absolutely not. One, not healthy. Two, unsustainable and not fun. Not fun at all. I feel like every aspect of my life has genuinely improved and that my year out has finally got a purpose. The number on the scale doesn't even matter to me as much anymore because I have new goals like building muscle, eating whole foods, and stuff that I'm prioritizing that is better for my health in the long run. Weirdly enough, to this day, I still haven't reached that goal weight that I set for myself when I was just 15 years old. But truly, I am happier than ever, and I've learned that the number on the scale is not the be all and end all. However, I know you all want to know still how I lost weight, as that is the starting point for so many people, including myself. But if you have waited all this time for some kind of big secret, I am afraid to say that there is not one at all. It literally is just calories in, calories out. I'm gonna go into the ins and out with you of what I did specifically, but in reality, it's just calories in versus calories out. Personally, I'm a short girly, so my deficit started very low at around 1,200 calories, which to be honest, I wouldn't recommend for anyone, and I don't think this was the best place to start, although it kind of did get the ball rolling. Because that is the recommended daily amount for a toddler, like a baby. Crazy. Yeah, 1,200 calories is just not sustainable, and I would strongly recommend for you to be in like a 1,400 calorie minimum. And if you're gonna make up those calories with exercise, that's totally fine, but at least you're eating enough to fuel yourself. If you want to figure out your calorie maintenance or deficit, use an online TDEE calculator, which I will link one below, or you can also just use a tracking app and say how much of calorie deficit you want to be in based on how much weight you want to lose. You can find like loads on the App Store like MyFitnessPal. I personally use my Net Diary, which I will also link below, but there's lots of apps out there for everyone. For sustainable weight loss, I would recommend losing a maximum of 1 pound a week. This does depend on like how overweight you are. Personally, I was not. I was literally just in the overweight scale. So for me, 1 pound a week, it was the most maintainable and sustainable goal. I know this isn't like the sexy answer that everyone wants, but is the one that will help you keep it off longer and kind of encourage new habits rather than just like crash dieting. And I want you guys to not be in the position that I was in where I gained all the weight back after a few years, because that is not fun at all. I also do hate to say it, but losing weight is not just a quick diet, a quick fix. It is a lifestyle change, and you do need to be getting some form of exercise in. You know, if you're a person who really doesn't like exercise, I definitely recommend starting with walking, because you can just put an audiobook in or anything and just walk and ignore the world. And it's like you're not even, I find that after a while it is like you're not even exercising and you're just doing it for your own enjoyment. I literally cannot go without my morning walks anymore. When I started my weight loss journey, I didn't track my protein, fat intake, fiber intake, anything like that, which is a big mistake, I have to say. I just kind of ate what I wanted within moderation. But this does mean that a lot of the time you end up losing more muscle than you do fat, which you definitely don't want, because muscle is like more oh my god, it's so, I'm not a dietitian, guys, but basically 1 pound of muscle burns more calories than 1 pound of fat, so it's much easier to gain that weight back if you've just got fat in your body and not as much muscle. So you want as much lean mass as is healthy, but you just kind of want to reduce your fat. It really should be more focused on fat loss. Everyone's always obsessed with the number on the scale, which is why you shouldn't be, because it's not just about weight loss, it's about fat loss, guys. Prioritize fat loss. Also, to gain muscle or keep muscle, I would recommend weight training. For women, personally, I use Caroline Gervin, I think her name is. I'll link her down below anyway, and I'll put her page up here. She is great. She has some really easy beginner exercises. I'll link the one that I used to do like every day or 3 times a week. To start with, that I found really easy and really easy to adapt to, especially as a girl who never, like, I never even picked up weights like that before. And she's just so easy. She explains it so well. Put on some good music and you will enjoy it, trust me. Oh, and I have to say, for the love of God, if you want to eat high protein, eat high fiber. Trust me, guys, you will thank me. Just eat some broccoli. You will thank me. Probably from the toilet, but you will thank me. I think a big thing people also underestimate is sleep. You need to be getting your 8 hours in for your rest and recovery. There's been lots of studies done on how sleep helps prevent muscle loss, and also when in a weight loss journey, people tend to lose more fat if they get the appropriate amount of sleep rather than less sleep than they should. Also, another big one, don't forget to stay hydrated. Obviously, preferably water, but Diet Coke, diet drinks, anything Diet Pop is not going to kill you, despite what everyone says. It's not going to kill you, guys. You can have Diet Pop if you want. My next habit is one that isn't focused on weight loss at all, but I think it was the one that made me the happiest, and it was to practice gratitude. It sounds really cringe, but when I changed my mindset from I have to I get to, it really changed the way I think, and it did make me happier. I'm not necessarily saying you guys need to whip out a journal every evening and write down your gratitude thoughts, but just kind of be more grateful for everything around you and the opportunities you have, because lots of people don't have those opportunities. And, I really do believe in the saying that there is always someone who would kill to be in your position. So just think of them and think about all the wonderful things in your life. Don't get me wrong, I know it's sappy, but living in a caravan, like, literally is not the end of the world. And I think practicing gratitude really did put the situation in perspective. Losing 10 pounds didn't give me a magic quick fix that I was looking for, but it made me realize that I can achieve great things and I am responsible for my own happiness. I am far from perfect, and there is many things I could change, which is actually why I made this channel, because I want to start doing challenges and trying new things in my lifestyle to improve myself for the better. Please like and subscribe to my channel to join me on my self-improvement journey and also keep me accountable. And feel free to share your experiences down in the comments. I want us to be one in this journey. Thank you for watching and best of luck with your own journey, whatever that may be. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.